Hello and welcome to the NFM Podcast. We are coming to you from the OptimizeU studio. The sponsors of this episode, OptimizeU, B2 Wellness, and Clean Juice. We are here. We have a special episode here. Got Collin with me.
How's it going?
This is a different setup than I'm used to, but we are here talking about an event that happened. We have Terry and Vanessa with us talking about Rise Up Nashville that happened. We are here to recap how the event went. How did it go?
It went pretty good, and you didn't introduce yourself.
Oh, my name is Blake Harris. Hi.
There he is. There he is.
Here I am. Yeah.
Details. It's just details.
Hey, this one's not about me. This one's not about me.
This is fun and weird.
Yes, weird.
Because I'm on the couch as a guest, and you're in the chair.
I'm in my normal chair, but you look uncomfortable.
Do I?
This is your first time as a guest on your own podcast?
No, believe it or not, I've done this multiple times, and it still
I
feels
was just like, okay.
Yeah,
he was one of my first guests.
that's true.
But now that's been a while. We got 50 coming up.
Let's go.
Whoop, whoop.
Let's go.
Yeah.
We're real proud of that. You've been doing good work, man.
Thank you. I
Blowing up that
appreciate that.
podcast. Yeah.
You've been doing good work, both of y'all together.
Well, we're trying.
Rise Up Nashville. My first just generic question. Why is fitness professionals so passionate about the unhoused community?
That's a perfect question for me, Blake. Thank you.
It's perfect. Spell it out, Terry.
We say it's missional for us. The Nashville Fit magazine's mission is to make Middle Tennessee a healthier place, and that looks different per age bracket, per financial bracket, per side of the town. Like it just looks different for everybody. And for some folks out there, healthy looks like a hot meal and a warm place to sleep. Having water, care to basic necessities. And that's why we got involved. And it really kind of just fell in our lap too.
Yeah. I feel like people probably need a little framing of exactly what it was and what we did.
Sounds like you just asked yourself a question.
I think.
Yeah, nice.
Rise Up Nashville is a resource fair for the unhoused community. So we had partnered with Metro Office of Homeless Services to provide resources for the homeless that day. We had showers and laundry. We had a food truck for free meals. We had haircuts. What else did we have? We had a jobs.
Right.
Goodwill was there with jobs.
We did a coat drive, passed out hygiene products.
We had Tennessee suicide prevention. We had addictions resources. Metro PD was there, their outreach community partner. And then the Office of Homeless Services was talking to everybody and finding out where they were in the system and how to help them. It was really an incredible event for everybody to come together. We had a lot of volunteers. A lot of businesses that.
So what you just listed, there was a lot of partners. That's what they do. They help provide things to this community. You were talking about mission. I got this the actual mission statement pulled up.
Oh boy,
I didn't want to mess it up.
Hopefully this is relevant.
It is. The mission of Rise Up was to bridge the divide between Nashville's unsheltered population and the supportive community around them. You just went into detail about that supportive community that already exists.
Yep.
My deeper question then about the actual, the unhoused and the people that were benefiting from this event is I want to talk a little bit more about the actual divide between the people that provide resources for that community and the actual unhoused community. Why is there a divide there? And how did you land on that mission statement to bridge that gap?
Everybody.
Well, that's a great question. Yeah. I don't know.
It's the heart of it.
I don't know if I know the exact reason why there's a divide there outside of, I guess,
I think everybody's trying to do their piece.
Yeah.
But there's not connectors. People try, but that's where we come in. It's the heart of what we do with NFM.
I think the term you're looking for is there feels like there's a little bit of a compassion burnout, right? Like you've got the city services, like the Office of Homeless Services, like they're going to be there, they're doing their job, but they're showing up every day. if they're not feeling supported, or they're not getting the community engagement they need to because it does take more than just an office of homeless services, right? There are plenty of nonprofits out there. And, OHS had those connections, but what do they do with them? How do they do this in a way that gets attention?
And I think they
that brings
do
people to the table.
some resource things where they're picking and choosing and bringing one or two together, or they're trying to provide a directory. There's a lot of initiatives that are in place to try to help this, but the idea was to have a bigger event that starts and multiple. This is supposed to be the first of many, but to have multiple events where people, and we can talk about this, but the homeless population that showed up, they were so grateful. Every one of them that walked through the door, they were just so grateful, and they asked, when's the next one, because they had everything they needed right there. And that's where we have come in to provide that place where these resources can start coming together to make it easier, to make it more accessible, and for each of these nonprofits to talk to each other,
Right.
because that's the benefit of that as well.
It surprises me that there's not already have been something like that, because my issue with getting involved in any of the unhoused charities and events and things, especially being over on the North Nashville side of things, is that, like, yes, it can be really impactful for a single Instagram reel to be giving a haircut or a shower or a coat. But if you're giving a coat to someone who smells terrible, or you're giving a shower to someone who doesn't then have clean clothes to go lay in, I can only imagine bed hair when you're sleeping under a bridge.
Yeah.
It like, what does that one haircut do? And obviously, I guess the answer is to then spark a momentum.
Mm-hmm.
But that's an uphill battle for so many people. That why has anyone not thought about then, like, well, what happens next? That's a much harder battle to fight, especially in the world of social media, when it's like, hey, look what I did. And then you go on about your
well,
life.
I think that's where the burnout that he was talking about comes in. That's where these people that have these organizations already, and they are there, they're trying to make an impact every day. They're trying to do something every day, but it does feel like I'm helping them in this moment, but what happens next?
Yeah.
But the reality is, we're all humans. You never know what one kind word or one thing that you do for somebody gives them the momentum to do something else for themselves, or you connect them with somebody else that can take them to temporary housing or get them a job. I mean, the job table was busy the entire time that we were there. So there's a lot more to it than just seeing somebody on the street.
And that's the context that needs to be laid here, because that's like, before we get too much further, I got to tell you the story how it got here, because there's relevancy to and it will come back to the question that you just asked. Our initial whole purpose in getting involved with Metro Health Services was that we knew that there was a leadership board. There was a health and leadership council, and that was, that sounded to me like, hey, there's somebody there's a subcommittee that's making decisions for Nashville as a whole about health and wellness and fitness and nutrition, all those things. I need to have a voice here. How do I figure this out? How do I find these people? And we ended up meeting with Jeff and Tracy, who were running some meetings at the time that were called CHIP meetings, and I can't remember what the acronym is. But we went to they were so kind. They were like, because we just,
they're great.
Again, our whole idea was to get to a subcommittee.
We're fitness and wellness. We should be involved in something if it's Nashville.
We've done it on the radio. We've done it with TV. It's like, we want to represent the industry in Music City as a whole. That's the whole. I mean, it's really the whole mission. So we get to the first meeting and we realize, oh, this isn't what we thought it was. Like, it's a lot of decisions about food access programs and setting up a directory for social services and a lot of Metro Medicaid style things. There were a lot of individuals in the room, great people, very smart people that were there because they're they're federally funded, and there's a stipulation in their funding that they needed to attend this meeting. So there's no entrepreneurs there. There is there's not a lot of movement towards I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. Actual action.
That's what.
Yeah.
There's just a lot.
And they were frustrated with that.
They were frustrated
too.
with it too.
They felt like they were spinning their wheels somewhat.
So being the disruptor that I am, I'm like, I waited till the very last minute and raised my hand, and I'm making everybody mad with my quick fixes. But at the end of the meeting, Randall actually runs the Coleman Park Community Center there off of Nolensville and Thompson. This is where Jarrell and I actually got our start. Dion too. Randall shows up and he talks at the end. He's like, hey, we've got quite an unhoused community problem at Coleman Park. Got guys like sleeping on the slide. I've got the playground's being taken over. Like, we just spent all this money on this playground. Like, the kids and the families can't use it. Is there something we can do about that? And this, like that, there was no room in the meeting for this. This is not an agenda item. This is not a topic that they were trying to tackle that day. He was just trying to get some help wherever he can find it. So I pulled him aside afterward, and I was like, well, I do go to a church 2 miles away. Let me talk to my pastor and see what we can do. Maybe there's something that we can connect with on this. Well, long story short, meet with my pastor and associate pastor, and what they do is they tell me about this thing that worked in Texas that reduced, I think it was Houston. Was it Houston?
Mm-hmm.
Houston's unhoused population by 60%. And it's a housing first model. So transitional housing, jobs with benefits. Like that's the whole reason to get these people to come out to these wellness fairs or whatever we're calling them, resource fairs. And I was like, cool. Someone's got a method to this. So this is pre-COVID. Like, he sends me the whole outline. I'm like, great. So I start putting the word out that we're heading in this direction, and I start collecting really crazy amount of people on this Zoom call. And before we know it, we have 4 or 5 representatives from the Office of Homeless Services.
Which shows you there's a lot of people that are passionate about it. It's just...
Yeah, so we had a bunch of nonprofits, we had church partners, we had businesses on the Zoom call, and OHS hops on too. And they're like, okay, hi guys, we've been here the whole time. We hear what you're saying, but you're not the first person who's come to us saying, let's do this Houston plan. Matter of fact, there's several people that have come and gone. And we were like, well, we ain't going anywhere. And matter of fact, we're going to bring the wellness industry with us, and then we're going to connect the churches along with it too. We did have to convince them that we came in peace.
Yeah.
Really?
They weren't really believers.
Or they think y'all are just trying to just overhaul their whole
Well, I think
operation?
they hear a lot of people that
A lot of empty
talk
promises.
and then don't follow through. And I think that's what the whole tone of that first call was, that's what they expected. And then the script completely flipped because they realized that we were serious.
I feel like that's the narrative around the homeless community in general, right? Is
Sure.
that people try and then give up when it's hard.
Right.
So that's how it all started. And we had 3 Zoom calls leading up, and then it really started to grow legs and actually become a thing.
Because how long ago was this?
We did the event last Thursday.
No, not the event. That meeting, the first one.
Well, that's
Like
what's
this
crazy
whole,
about
this whole process.
This is like from start to finish. This all happened under 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah, it moved incredibly quick. Which this is par for the course for Terry. So
Execute.
Yeah.
If you notice my tone, wow. Wow, you had
Only
3 whole months?
3 whole months.
Moved a little slow there, didn't you, Terry?
Slowing down your old age, I see.
Lost a step. But I think that even actually answered the original question, about bridging the gap of what was the biggest roadblock? Because obviously, as mentioned, you were told there were people before you. They're trying to do exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
What do you think was the biggest roadblock of why so many people have either quit, given up, or...
I would probably say this is an assumption on my part, and you can chime in here if you'd like, but the assumption on my part is the lack of support. Where this is powerful, this was powerful for us because we're freaking NFM. We bring partners, we bring people together. That's the whole thing that we do. That's my
collaboration.
Yeah, it's literally my purpose. On this planet is to keep collaborating with folks and keep building those partnerships. So when I said I was going to do it, people started coming out of the woodwork for it. I think that that's not easy. I don't think that part is automatic for a lot of people. And then the other roadblock, which feels like I can connect to, because you don't know what you don't know. So for me, the lack of knowledge in this department is if you don't have just a little bit of, I guess, stupidity, you're not going to run full force into it. You know what I mean?
And probably exactly what your question was. There's probably a lot of people that see, well, this is a one-off thing, so what impact is that actually going to make? I'm going to put all this work into it, and what impact is that actually going to make? But I think there's a lot of impact. I mean, we don't know how many people ended up with jobs talking to Goodwill that day.
Right.
We don't know if somebody picked up an addiction resource pamphlet and that changed their pathway.
Would
you
those
just
be
don't-
numbers that we could actually find out?
Yeah, but over time.
Yeah.
Because they all did register with OHS when they came. A lot of that was for the fact that the Metro is putting together it's called a tour card for We Go. So they're going to be able to have a free bus pass so they can move about the city and get the resources they need and keep a job.
And this the vision for this is to do it in different parts of the city. So it's not just a one-off event.
Right.
This is literally bringing these resources together. That was the first one for us to learn how to do it better. We got so many connections that we're compiling right now to be able to bring in for the next one, because there's a lot more. This was really, really good, but it's going to be even better. And the goal is to do it in different parts of Nashville so that it is accessible for the homeless population in different areas.
Who was like the biggest help with getting this outside of y'all? Because you said there's a lot of information you didn't know. Like, who was able to kind of feed you that stuff to where it's like, okay.
OHS.
Okay.
Yeah, they eventually came to what Demetria said on the call. She's the PR representative for OHS. She said our actual desire was to bring in industry or business and the faith-based community into helping us solve this problem. And I'm like, well, you got that with one dude. Here I am.
Yeah.
Like, excited to help with that. Now, outside of them, WellPoint and the SALT Project were the ones that made it financially possible. So those were massive sponsors, and they really made it possible for us to, like, we were able to, go get baby clothes and diapers and like all kinds of stuff to help folks out. So those are the two big sponsors right there.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Because how big of a turnout did you have? Did y'all get a number with that?
We study all day.
We served right around 60, 65 people.
Nice.
And from 10 to 2.
We had in those numbers, there were families. There was small children. Yeah, it was
It's a little bit heartbreaking for sure.
It was heavy, but there was quite a wide variety of people that came through there.
Because how do you spread the word to them? Like, now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, because it's not like I feel like they're not a lot of them have phones.
So Metro Office of Homeless Services, that is one thing. They have the contacts, so they know where the people are. They handed out flyers. They connected with them. The way that Office of Homeless Services is, they have different directors in different areas of Nashville. So we worked with the South Nashville director, and so they were telling them in advance, but then actually 30 minutes before it started, the director got in her car and went around the area and told the people that she happened upon. And the way that they told us it works is that starts spreading the word. And then it was from 10 to 2, and that led to a steady stream of people all day long.
Nice.
Metro PD has an community outreach division, and they were there, and they do these things, different things like this quite a bit. And so they were able to give us guidance on, because we didn't know, this was a learning experience for us on that side, but they were able to give us a guidance on even our setup to make it approachable, so that they didn't feel intimidated, so that they did feel welcome to walk up there. But yeah, that's how they found out.
Within the mantra of like, it takes a village, of those 65 that you served, how many individuals from the Zoom calls, the people showing up, the volunteers, did it take to serve 65 people?
Over 100.
Yeah,
There's probably, you think?
On site or throughout the process?
Throughout the whole process.
Yeah.
Over 100 people.
Yeah.
So
there is a lot of people with heart for this, and they just kept popping up even till the day of we want to be involved. We want to be there.
Right. A lot of people showing up just to help us tear down.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was amazing.
Like going back to the Houston thing, like how long did that take for that 60% to kick in? Like what was the time frame on that?
That's a good question. I want to say it was 3 years.
I want to say it was either 2 or 3 years. It was short. It was for that kind of impact. It was a very short period of time.
And I don't know that it'll work that well for us, but one of the reasons for that's weather, right? Like it gets very, very cold, and it's very hard to get people out, and it's hard to run an event when it's cold.
Public transportation different,
yeah, like
from here to there.
It's different. There are a lot of variables, but it's really cool to see. I had a buddy show up that I haven't seen. He actually used to work for a construction business that I had. Long story, different podcast. That has started building affordable housing models in his backyard, and he came just to see what we were doing because he's like, "No, this is exactly what we need to do." Like, he's got this whole vision, and so we're able to connect him with several partners, and he's looking like he's probably going to get financing available to buy several acres to build, what did he tell me, 150 low-income homes? Like, that stuff happened at that event. Like, just like almost like a networking event.
It's important to, one of the biggest things that I learned on Thursday was that it's important to understand that it's not a, how did Demetrius put it? It's not a jobless problem. It is.
They're not unemployed. They're underemployed.
Mm.
So that bringing that job resource
is that in regard
there.
to OHS?
That's what they're saying about the
homeless.
majority of the unhoused population is, it's upwards of like 70% of them are just underemployed.
That have jobs.
They have jobs, but they're still living under a bridge or in their car at a Planet Fitness or something, in a parking lot. Yeah.
Mm.
So what's the fix to that? Well, I mean, because Nashville's cost of living is insane.
You're
only rising.
Your definition of a low income home is kind of objective.
The number one fix is some sort of transitional house. Like when I say that, it means it's a short term solution. You get them in, you get them secure, you get them stable, then they can move. After a year, maybe 2 years of building up some stability, then they transition to the low income housing, right? Or maybe they're up and out altogether at that point. And
are there any? I'm guessing there's something like that, just not very much or not accessible.
There's not enough of it.
Because I know there is a huge. I say huge percentage. There's a much bigger percentage than a lot of people really understand of people that the reason why they're in Nashville is because they came to Cumberland Heights. Cumberland Heights is a huge organization across the country that have come here for substance abuse and rehab and things like that. They have a large network of halfway homes, apartment buildings, partnerships with apartments and things like that. Does that just not exist in that same capacity?
Again, we're 3 months into this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we still are building these partnerships, and that's the reason why we're on this podcast. Like, that's the reason we sent this to the news. It's the reason we did it. It's in part the reason, right? We want to serve and help the folks, and we want to give them a leg up and out if they want it, but we also want to make this a big deal. I think that's the power of NFM taking a lead on this, is that we can we can be the connector for all of those things.
And we have a voice about it.
Yeah, and have a voice about it, and keep shining light on it, right? Like in a positive way, because some of this stuff it's reported like it's like the people are a problem and they don't have a story, right? Like there's
or that it's by choice, that they're just lazy. That's not the case for more. I mean, you're
bad
gonna
decisions,
right?
Yeah,
right. No, it's. There may be some mental health issues. There may be, there's a lot of different things that go into it.
Very dehumanized.
Exactly.
Yes. And that was our whole goal. That was make it welcoming.
Right.
Make it an environment where people that walk through the door have their integrity and feel, and maybe just, you talked about just being a one-off situation, but for that moment, maybe they can forget how hard it is for that moment because they have everything they need for that moment.
Right. Yeah. There were people that were just hanging out. Like they were sitting there on the chair having a conversation all day just because they were out of the rain. Mm-hmm. Like they had been fed. They can just hang out for a second. What I want to make sure I finish my point here is that the reason we're on this podcast, the reason that this is in the news, the reason why we put it in the magazine, the reason for the videos that you've seen me post is to continue to build more partners because we have to keep doing this. Like we have to.
This is a question. So what made the Houston thing so different than other places in the country that I've tried? Because I think like what St. Louis tried something with like more affordable housing and it bombed. Like what was the difference between the Houston thing and that, and then what you guys are trying to do?
I think some of that's very similar to what's going on here. Because of the dehumanization of this population is that you get a lot of community pushback because the assumption is they don't want to work and that they're all hooked on drugs. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. And we don't want a halfway house in our neighborhood. That's like
someone should do it, just not us.
Right.
Exactly. Like
arm's distance charity.
Yeah. I think that has a lot to do with it. It's really, it's almost harder to solve the problems inside of the city's limits than it would be to solve the problems outside the city limits.
In the suburbs.
Yeah.
I don't know as far as Houston is concerned, but the other piece of that is the jobs. And I'm going back to that because, yes, it's housing and getting affordable housing and the transitional housing. But I go back to how busy Goodwill was the entire day. Those people were coming to get jobs. So underemployed is a big deal. I don't think that these people have any problems with working 2 or 3 jobs if that's what it takes. It's finding those jobs that they can get to start to get the income to where they start to be able to meet their needs. And that one of the solutions that you asked about earlier, providing more resources that have those jobs.
Yeah. And if you've never been in a situation where you've had to like worry about like your career, your salary, and how that pertains to the roof over your head, I don't think in this economy right now, in a city like this, I don't think people really fully comprehend how close they are to not really having somewhere to go. And that's like any of us, being able to have like that kind of fallback is not that unrealistic to talk about. So that's very powerful work. I know I'm feeling some kind of way listening to the story of how all this went. So I might need to collect myself. We're going to take a quick break here. We're going to hear a word from our incredible sponsors, and we will be back to talk more about all of this.
At OptimizeU, we believe that normal is not optimal. Whether you've been dabbling in hormones or this is your first time and you want to know where to get started, we make the hormone optimization process very simple. Simply get started with comprehensive labs, and our providers will take it from there with you to review where you are right now and where you want to be to ultimately help you achieve your health and performance-related goals. So from our expertise in hormones, peptides, all the way to recovery services, we want you feeling at your optimized best so that you ultimately feel better physically, mentally, and sexually. Just like hormones playing a significant role in the overall optimization of your health, so do recovery services help your body on a cellular level. From our sensory lounge to our infrared sauna, full body red light, full body cryotherapy, cold plunge, we have a wide range of performance recovery services just for you.
All right, and we're back in the NFM Podcast. So we were just talking about the great work you guys were doing. And over the break, wanted to kind of cycle back to this. So what was the big piece that would keep, do you think it's having the jobs that made the Houston thing so successful with it paired with the housing? Like, what is your thoughts on that?
I think that's the secret sauce for sure. I think those two together, like having as many job opportunities presented as possible, and is, obviously a path to housing. And then I think repeatability as well, like consistently doing these events and moving it across town, because you gain partnership momentum. and you get more partners that come out of the woodwork that you didn't know about. Like I need to seek after that one that you mentioned. We'll talk after the show.
Yeah.
Like I think those two things have to be part of the recipe, and then it has to be on repeat.
That was one of the powerful things about what I learned on Thursday. The fact that so many people were seeking out the jobs, the desire is there. So if you've got those people that are coming to the table with that desire, and you're able to provide that with the transitional housing, I mean, that I agree, that has to be the combination that would work.
I feel like there's a huge piece that's missing in all of this, and that's the education piece of how to navigate homelessness.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now, I mean, I've literally sat in your office learning how to be a better entrepreneur. What resources are available for me trying to grow my business. If you want to, being a bodybuilder, you could get a coach that shows you how to get the best placement you can on stage. Like, no matter what any of us are wanting to do on this side of where we are in our life, there's someone there that's you can very easily access somebody to tell you how to take the proper steps forward and navigate the resources and navigate to pull the best version out of yourself. I've never seen a YouTube tutorial on how to navigate the resources of homelessness to be the best homeless person that you can be and to get out of that. Like there's no...
I think there's a lot of I think Metro Office of Homeless Services is trying. They are creating a directory. There is efforts towards creating a central database. I think a lot of these nonprofits that we are discovering and working with, I think each of them has pieces of that. I think the cohesion of that to be that education, that's where something like this event is going to be powerful in order to make that happen. I also think even the people that are not nonprofits that are already doing these things, even people that show up to this event, the companies that this may be their first time experiencing this, but entrepreneurs out there that have ideas of how to make that happen, that never even thought about that arena before, but they can translate what they're doing into making that happen. That's where the power of these events comes in as well.
Because I just know, like, if I wanted to Google how to become a millionaire,
tons of resources.
There's literally millions of videos of how to do that. But like, has anyone done a video on like how to become like a hundredaire? Like,
right.
Like,
that's a great point.
There should be more videos on that than there are on how to become a millionaire.
Yeah, I think about our involvement in this as well, because we are a media company. There are little things like that we could do. You start thinking about all the tools that we use to, promote business, promote ourselves, this, that, and the other. It's like, if we use these same tools in the toolbox to bring more awareness to this situation, how much more of a game changer it would be, because nobody's doing it in that space. Like, it would be immediately helpful. Right. And I think that the more ideas like that, like, I'm starting to get there myself. Like, we did document the whole thing. We had the cameras, had cameras rolling. We produced some social media content for the express purpose of bringing more awareness and resources to to each event, so that we can build on this. But that's it. It's just stuff like that. Like, it's just the simple little things like that. Like, you get a talent, you get a skill, that can help in this way that you would normally use for business or for marketing or for whatever. Think about how
powerful.
It could affect the the unhoused or the lower income community.
So which people do you need to get in front of first then? Because like, that's cool, but like, I don't think they're going to get to it.
Right.
So like, there's going to have to be the first, like, after y'all, that's going to have the bigger impact, because they're right now, just like you already said, they're underworked, or not underworked. They're working so much, but they're employed or something. Is that the word you use?
Underemployed.
Underemployed. Yeah. So it's like, they're not going to have the time to scroll through and look, because they're job 1, 2, 3, and they come home and crash.
Right.
Well, and I think even providing something like that for Metro Office of Homeless Services, because they are the first point of contact for them. We had them set up as the registration for them to be the first point of contact, because they have a system. They have them in the system. They are able to start telling them what they're, I think they talked about, and I wasn't beside the table the whole time they were doing it, but they were talking to them about what resources were available to them specifically. So even if we had some sort of video or education or something like that, that we could provide for the Office of Homeless Services, because they are that first point of contact, that could be something that would work. So there's ways, and that's where all of the brains that, when having these conversations and getting the word out, people, like I said, people were popping out of the woodwork.
Fresh perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is the thing to think about. Like, and that's a great question. Like, and I think OHS is doing a good job. Like literally keeping lists of people, so they knew who was in the system, so they can keep in touch and point them to resources. So that's their express goal. So I can't say enough good things about OHS.
They
just good people.
Yeah.
One of the things when I was asked to do this, that I was really like the first question I knew I wanted to ask you, because at this point, you and I have been a part of a lot of events.
Sure. Yep.
I know you're kind of like your methods leading up and also on the back end of things. So a little intimate of a question, but how you decompress after events and go through and process, because in the time you might see something that is, the children that are there and things that give you feeling that moment, but you still are working. You're making sure this event goes smoothly.
Right.
Once it's torn down, once you're able to go back to your warm house, your dry roof, take me through some of those immediate feelings and processes as you get decompressed after an event like this.
I think it's easy to say why. For me, it's, well, why me? Like, why do I have these things when that individual doesn't? You go through that a little bit. Like, that's a very real thing to feel. And I would say with other events, like, fitness events or the expo, you get to the end of those and you're like, oh, finally
a breath.
6 months of a breath before we have to do that again. With this, it's like, man, I hope that worked, and I cannot wait to do another one.
That was the feeling driving up. I mean, there was
feel exhausted.
Tears in the car of what we did, and it's that really strong, powerful feeling of, this is exactly what we're supposed to be doing.
Right.
That was.
If I can ask, happy tears, sad tears, or
I had a little bit
mix?
of reconciling to do. The first, I was not prepared for. I mean, I should have. I didn't think enough about it.
How would you though?
We're in the planning weeds though, so it's
So the first, I have a 6-month-old grandbaby, and one of the first people that I come in contact with is a lady that has a 5-month-old that she's holding, and it was instant. Like, it's when she walked away in the rain with her baby, that was something I walked out and told Terry, I was like, I got to get my emotions in check, because this is going to be a long day otherwise. And so, yeah, I mean, that was really hard. It wasn't the last family that we touched base with that day, the child that I held, getting him a grilled cheese. And so there was a mixture of that. It was, this sucks. But also, this is exactly what we're supposed to be doing. There has to be people. There's a lot of good people that are trying to help, and this is exactly what we're supposed to be doing.
So, coming out of that, you could say the same thing about Mother's Day, anniversaries. If the only time you celebrate your mom's on Mother's Day, I think you're doing something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Same thing with your partner. If the only time you do something special is on an anniversary, I don't think you're doing it the way it should be done.
Yeah.
It's one thing to get everybody to come together for one event. Okay, we can do this once. Do you think now that you've done this one and you kind of learned a lot, is it going to be harder to get continual support to make this not a one thing, or is it now easier?
I think you take it out of Nashville, and that's potentially the case, but we do live in the buckle of the Bible Belt. There are a lot of nonprofits and organizations here with a lot of good heart and a lot of manpower. I don't foresee an issue. I think it's going to be easier as we go now.
Yep, I agree.
We
And
still
I
have a
think-
lot to learn, mind you.
I think
Yeah.
when you're passionate about something like this to the level that we are too, that really plays into it. If it was just something that you're checking a box about, then yeah, people are not going to buy into it as much. But I think that I do think it gets easier from here.
Me in my own life, I've just been trying to lock in on like just making a profit, much less getting involved in a nonprofit.
Mhm.
How does that work? I know I've recently been into your scope of how you navigate and work. I'm very familiar with how you do things.
Yeah.
You still only have 24 hours in a day.
Right.
You have a entire business that is a for-profit business that feeds families.
Mhm.
But seeing how passionate you are about this, you're not going to stop. This is not going to be a one-off thing. This is going to take up some bandwidth. How are you personally navigating that to give it everything that you want to give it and it not take away from what you're already doing?
And in those instances, you got to swallow your pride and let people help that can help. And for me, that's been the
Did you hear yourself say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was for me the most humbling thing about the whole thing is that it's I've been going to church nearly my entire life. Like stepping into a church that made this a big deal and had 25 to 30 volunteers coming out makes me feel like right time, right place. This is in essence on some level what I'm built to do.
Mhm.
Like all of my worlds came together for this thing. So it does give me life. And when you're working and doing an event like that, or anything really that brings you life, you end up finding, 1 to 2 more hours in your day that you didn't normally have. And it starts to attract help.
Can you shout out that church?
That's Proclamation.
Is that your church?
So that's where I go. Yeah.
I'm trying to navigate this correctly on this podcast. Sometimes generically,
Sure.
Christians can be the worst.
Oh yeah.
Especially about welcoming who they welcome into their doors.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a lot of it in my experiences with places that they want to do good. They talk about good that needs to be done, but then don't welcome the people that need good.
Right.
I would like to take the answer on this one.
Yes. Oh, please do.
This is something. I don't go to church regularly. I am strong in spirit, not in religion, I like to say. But I like going to church when I find the right one. I haven't in a while. Stepping into Proclamation and meeting the pastor and that team was very impactful for me for exactly the reason that you're talking about. These were the real deal. They were not, they are not people that are not welcoming. They had every door on that church open. They were in the thick of it. There was even the volunteers that came from that church. It was a totally different animal than what you're talking about. So yes, I to the point where I intend to attend that church
Right.
because that is
Wow.
that's the people. That's
Yeah.
the people.
If you-
that stuff does exist. It usually exists in the extremes.
Yes.
It's the same way in politics, right? Like,
Oh, for sure.
yeah, it's always in the extreme versions. The guys that you find in the bars or in the tattoo shops or at the rock concerts or at the freaking help the unhoused that are talking about their faith, those are the real ones.
Mhm.
Those are the ones with dirty hands, right?
Yeah.
Those are the real ones. And make no mistake, man, my pastor was out there.
He's
Dirty hands and all.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, I've been to a lot of churches and I've sat under a lot of pastors, a lot of good leaders, but none that have done what you've done today.
And that's what struck me from the first time I met him is he talked about that's the whole reason he took that church in the first place was because
The
of where it was
location.
located.
Yeah.
Mm.
And because this is what he knew he was supposed to be doing. And the same thing that we're talking about, he didn't know how he was going to accomplish it, where the funds were going to come from or anything. He just knew that's what he was supposed to be doing, like what Terry was talking about. But you asked about how do you balance that with the income earning side of it. It's not one thing. I keep saying this to Terry, and I don't know that it's fully landed yet.
It's hard.
But it's not one thing. It's all the things. All of these things we're doing are connected. We are connectors, and it's not about optics. It's not about just getting that social post. It's about lifting people up and supporting them. The way we do in the fitness and wellness community is the same way in general. Everybody should be lifted up and supported in different aspects of life. So it's not one thing, it's all the things. So for me, it's not extra hours in the day. It's part of what I'm doing every day. It's part of the conversations that we're having throughout the day. It's part of all of it.
You know, I think you've changed my perspective of how fitness can be manipulated into other industries, other lifestyles. If someone is dealing with, body weight issues, then them learning how to be fit is different from taking someone who wants to compete in bodybuilding. That fit and being fit enough is a different conversation.
Right.
But I feel like a lot of times, my scope is fitness, is, the floor of people who can afford personal training and need to get their weight in check, to then also the top of people that are going to go and compete in competitions and out of states and things like that. And like I think in the terms of like a floor and a ceiling, but never really think about fitness's home below that.
It's everything.
Yeah,
I mean, it's everything. That's, again, I go back to, it's not one thing, it's everything, because wellness and fitness touches everybody.
It really does.
No matter
It
who you are, no matter if you have a house or not, that is where, I mean, we all know as trainers, that fitness starts in your brain. Like, it's all mental. It's what you're going to put into it or what you're going to do is all your headspace. So it's not any different than somebody that is out on the streets. It's in your headspace. It's everything.
Because, my perspective is like, if I get really busy with jobs, filling in, doing things, I might not get to work out one day, and that's okay. I had to get okay with that being okay that I didn't work out that day, but that's because I've had to shift into a mindset where there's other priorities for that day. And I guess a surface level, shallow mindset would say, if I was unhoused, my priority wouldn't be worrying about my bench press right now.
Right.
So that's why I was almost struggling to see, where does fitness really tie in to all of this?
So there is a family housing, transitional housing organization called Safe Haven Family Shelter. And I worked there as a trainer for a couple of years back early, probably 10 years ago. But I was bringing in a program. It was supposed to be specifically for the kids, and it was fitness for the kids. It was to get them moving. It was to get them doing exercises and that sort of thing. And the families, the moms would come in with the kids to do this program. And I had multiple moms come up to me after the program in tears and say, I used to work out before I had to start sleeping out of my car. And that's the first time in 2 years that I have not had to think about my situation for just a minute. So that's one of the ways where fitness affects everybody. Wow. There's so many stories and so many different ways that it all ties in.
And it also we define that. We define fitness one way, right? Us fitness professionals, us, the industry leaders define it in a certain way. I think being fit to serve, being fit to work, being, fit to excel at your job, like those things look different to a lot of different people. It is so much, it's very subjective. But it's also a great equalizer. Like, it's a great equalizer, and it is a success hack no matter where you're at in your life. It's like, if you can create structure and discipline to work on, getting healthy, whether it's walking, push-ups, eating right, journaling, whatever that wellness looks like to you, once you've achieved that, it doesn't really feel like the other hard things are as hard, right? Like, I think we all can say that.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I even talk about like cold plunge.
Right.
Is that, like, aside from any physical, mental benefits of what you want to talk about, that's not what we're talking about today, is that some of us have gotten to the point where coming in and hitting some arms and stuff like that's not even hard for us to do anymore.
Right.
Like that's second nature to do that. So what else in your life is in your routine, meaning you do it consistently, that is hard? What's something you're not looking forward to doing it, but you're going to do it anyway because you have implemented discipline.
Working on that mental strength.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think privileged enough to forget that even just doing a warm-up, stretch, mobility, anything is hard for some people.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes we lose sight of that. The last overall topic that I got to bring up is, the overlying theme this entire conversation has been that this can't be one and done.
Right.
If it's one and done or an annual event, you're just going to be spinning your wheels starting right back where you were. What is the plan for consistency to actually allow steps forward by the time we're talking about Rise Up, November 2026, that there's actual progress forward? What is the consistency? What is the time frame of events, different types of events? What is next?
The time frame is the tricky part. Obviously, we're entering the holidays, right? Tomorrow's Thanksgiving, or I know you guys are going to watch this next week. So that becomes very tricky, both for, our personal schedules as well as
logistically
churches and all the things, like the places where we would host it and all the things. So ideally, we're doing this every other month.
Mm-hmm.
That's the idea. And in between times, maybe we're not. Maybe people start cloning this event, and there are teams and splinter cells that start taking this over in their own areas of. I would love if that was what happened with churches. Like, Proclamation does it on this side of town, Church of the City does it on that side of the town, so on and so forth.
There's a lot of things that we're debriefing and trying to bring together to figure that out.
Figuring all these things out. So there's a United Methodist Church 2 doors down from me. I was talking to the pastor the other day and telling him about this because they do first Friday of every month. They've got a food pantry and they hand out a bunch of food. And he's like, well, we get people asking about those resources all the time, and we don't have any answers for them. Like vouchers to stay in their home because they, the bills were high that month and they can't afford it, but they've got a job. And how do we bridge the gap, or how do we get, the mental health services that we need, or the addiction recovery services that we need? People are asking churches this stuff, and they don't have the answers. So I'm starting to see more and more how it's just like with that pastor's name's Garrett. I connected Garrett with Monica from WellPoint. They're going to run point on that. They're going to bring some services out to that church on the first Friday of every month and be those answers. I'm like, just like that. Like we just changed that event by just having a conversation. This is what we've done. What are you doing? This is what we do. Here's where our need is. Great. I know those people. Stand by. So it looks like a lot of things.
It becomes more apparent. It's going to grow and change, and things are going to come out of it. But yeah, it's figuring out what can we do consistently to. The name of it is Rise Up. So it's not Rise Up next year. It's
Rise Up right now.
Yeah, Rise Up right now.
Yeah.
One of the things that changed how I looked at fitness, especially like as a business or running a gym, is I now look at it as a spectrum. I look at it as I own the umbrella since I now own the gym. And instead of worrying about how can I keep clients, because I think there are trainers out here in this city that fine line between client retention and client limitation is a much finer line than it should be. But since I own the gym, I don't care if I'm having to work with you only body weight exercises for personal training. If I can get you to the point where you could do group fitness classes, or if you get to the point where you are competent and confident to do a workout, an open gym on your own, which gets incentivized because it costs less money, all the way up into if you want to do a competition and I'm coaching you up to do that competition. As long as you're doing it at Music City Muscle, I'm still benefiting. And then now I get that gratification of walking people down that progress spectrum. I know how you are visions. Mm-hmm. Your vision, someone comes up to a Rise Up event, they see all these resources for the first time in one place under one roof together. What does that progress look like from someone going from unhoused to utilizing these resources, putting them to good use, and then ending up in a housed community?
Boy, the vision, I don't know if I could see it from start to finish yet. But I know it's there. Like, there's a couple weeks ago, we do these workouts for the Downtown Nashville Partnership at Riverfront. And one of the guys there saw the event, Rise Up, listed, and he came over and he said, "That's awesome that you're doing that." And I was like, we do want to help. It's we do events on all different levels. So, I appreciate that. And he goes, "I was homeless once. It was just a year and a half ago." And he's now working for the Downtown Nashville Partnership. And he's like, "You keep doing what you're doing. That matters. That's how I got out." So I don't know. Like, I just know that's a testimonial right there.
It's just like with the gym journey, it's going to be different for everybody.
It's going to be different.
Maybe somebody needs mental health resources more than anything else. And once they get those mental health resources, that helps them progress forward to wherever they need to be to get out of that situation. Maybe somebody needs another job to go that's just that little bit more income to get them to that next step. So I don't know that there's a clear path for the individuals, for everybody that's like a cookie cutter path, but I think it's going to be a little bit different journey for everybody. But the first place is that Metro Office of Homeless Services, for them having that to be their go-to, and then figuring out what their particular path is going to be.
Yeah.
I think very similar to fitness, as a trainer will post client testimonials and look at this weight loss, look at this, look at what this PR is now and things like that. I feel like there would have to be some sort of kickback from the actual unhoused community themselves of like, thank you for doing that, but it's not going to help. And actually showing, being able to have the model and having people that used to be homeless, actually showing people that it can be done.
Yeah.
Like, it's not as it is a daunting thing,
hopeless.
But it's not hopeless that they actually can do it. Because a lot of times, I mean, we've all seen it, right? Like, people in the gym, they can do more than they think they can. They just don't know that they can.
Sure.
And I feel like having those testimonials would be really important as well.
Yeah.
And I think even the environment of showing up to a situation like Thursday and seeing the number of people that care, because there was so many people there that were volunteering, that were working it, that were providing resources. And I think maybe even for some of those people just going, oh, yeah, I'm not by myself today, trying to figure this out all by myself. People care. So that in and of itself can give people hope. If you're seeing that consistently, there's other people helping for us to do this together.
Yeah, I think that it's a success. I think people from a volunteer level even, or donations, investments, if you see that it's working, it's worth time and energy.
Yeah.
And
sure.
the money worth it. Well, this was great. I feel like I say this every time I'm in front of a microphone. I got more out of this than I anticipated. This was for me. Thank y'all for showing up for me.
You're welcome.
This was great.
Yeah. How can we find out more? Like, how can people get more involved?
You can get involved by just emailing us. It's Terry at NashvilleFitMagazine.com or Vanessa at NashvilleFitMagazine.com. By the way, this is our new business development director, by the way, Vanessa.
Hey.
She also...
I was going to say, you got an NFM email address?
I do. Legit.
Oh, I don't have one of those.
I don't think you want to earn it with the amount of work that she's done to earn it either. So it's a lot of work. Yeah, getting involved, it's that simple. If you guys are watching and you do know of an organization that you would like to connect us to, by all means, please do so. Like, it's going to take all of us.
Even if it just speaks to your heart and you don't know how you can help, just let us know. We will plug you in.
Right.
Well, I mean, if it took 100, 120 people to serve 65 in one day, if we want to serve thousands, it's going to take double that.
Exactly right. Yeah.
So we got to come together.
Yes, sir.
How do y'all wrap these up?
And we're done.
Connolly.
Peace out.
And thanks for watching the NFM podcast. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Like, subscribe on all the platforms, and we'll catch you guys next week.